Hey there, hey there, hey there. Good evening, everyone. Where are my sisters at? Boom. Where are my sisters at? See, I got two of them here. Yay. Where are my sisters at? I am waiting on my sisters. Good evening. This is Lisa D. Adams, your seesaw maiden, and welcome to Holding the Hand of My Sister, where our tonight conversation is going to talk about happy marriages. This is Love Week. Actually, every week is a Love Week, but this is where society, hi Demetra, all of us know you, where society celebrates love. So a lot of times in society, we don't hear about the happy couple. We always hear about the drama of a couple that's going through a season in their marriage, but it's not the happy stuff. We want to know what's making them unhappy. Are they going to divorce? Are they going to do this? Come on over some more stuff, Tracey. Are they going to do this? Are they do? No, I heard this. I heard that. Well, I want y'all to hear this tonight. Tonight, we're talking about happy marriages. Wow. We're celebrating two younger ladies, and they have some powerful men with them. Powerful men. They have both been married over 20 years. Now, that right there, over 20 years. They are still young. They are not 106 years old, so you could say people don't do that nowadays. So to us single people, there is still hope. To my sister out there that has been divorced, it's okay. That was not the one for you. I'm in that same predicament. It was not the one for you. You take the lessons that you've learned. We own up to our part of it, and we move on. So I'm introducing you to you this evening, Tonia Williams and Tracey McFadden. Please, can I have some hearts and whatnot for my guests as we talk about happy marriages? Okay, ladies, let's just go right in. But wait, first of all, big shots out to them before still committing. Staying true to their commitment, because I asked and they said yes, but then the weather is bad out there, you all. And I told them I understand, because I'm not one that I don't do this type of weather. I'll be ready to shut down. Mm-hmm. So I am just so excited, and I appreciate you guys so much for coming out. So let's just talk about it. Tracey, how long you been married?
22 years.
Woo! Tonia, you enjoy, celebrate?
We've been married 29 years.
Yes.
Amen.
Awesome. Okay, so who want to start? Just talk about it. It's just a conversation. We don't have a panel or anything. Let's just talk about the sincerity in God's plan for marriage. Let's start there. Any one of you. It doesn't matter.
Well, so one of the things, I think when we're starting to talk about marriage, one of the things we need to start with, which unfortunately too many young women, we're fixated on the wedding. Mm-hmm. It's the idea of, I am going to be a beautiful bride. Mm-hmm. I am going to have a fantastic wedding. My wedding will be talked about for years. And the wedding. The wedding is only one day. Mm-hmm. Just to get you started for your commitment of a lifetime. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where people, they miss the mark, because we're too focused on getting to a point and not understanding what comes with the decision that you make. Mm-hmm. And so that, I think that's what we need to understand. We need to separate the events or what he did for me when we were dating, or how he proposed to me, or the wedding that I'm gonna have, with the plan for the lifetime. Mm-hmm. Because that's the most important thing. And then you have to understand what role you're saying yes to. Mm-hmm. So those are the things I think that women start off on the wrong foot with. If you get those things in order first, then you can start lining up other things. Because see, focusing on that wedding day make you see some things in him that is not even there. Focus on the wedding day or make what people are gonna think and how beautiful you're gonna be. You overlook a whole lot of other things. Because it's the commitment, it's the task, it's the assignment that comes afterwards.
You have a very nice wedding and held with for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
You're happy. Give me your input, Tracey.
What was the question again?
Well, we were talking about the just the formality and God's plan for marriage.
What I've learned is that marriage is a selfless act of love. And if we are selfish people, we will struggle in being happy. But I think even before we come into a relationship with someone of the opposite sex, we must first be happy in Jesus.
Yeah.
And then we must be happy in ourselves before we can be happy in a relationship. Because it's two different people coming together. Two different cultures, two sets of household standards. Even from the standpoint of being a man and a female, we think differently. But I think if Christ is our example, because Christ in the church, the bridegroom, he's the bridegroom, the church is the bride. But if Christ is our example and we are mimicking or trying to mimic our marriage after Christ in the church, then we have a really good chance of having that type of happiness that we're looking for in the confines of marriage.
I agree. And then I think often too, sometimes, as you were saying before, we're talking about the wedding day, and some of us just want to get married for the sake of being married. We have never taken into consideration the pros and the cons. We have never taken in consideration now what's mine is his, what's his is mine. So that means that if there were children prior to me, those are my children now. That means that no matter what it is, we have to commit to being in this together. It's no longer mine. I can't have, as you said, Tracey, I can't have this selfish feeling. And then what about trust? Trust, I think trust is key. First of all, do we trust ourselves to make the right decision?
No.
I think,
So if we're honest in discussion, so first of all, for those of you who don't know me, I got married at 21. I didn't even know who I was at 21. Joe was my best friend. Nice person, excellent. We had the same goals in mind. He knew he wanted to get married. I knew I wanted to get married. We didn't know who we would turn out to be 29 years later. And one of the things that I always say this, first of all, as a Christian woman, when I made a commitment to marry Joe, I made a commitment to God. And so as I behave, as I do, and what I do, I have to be accountable to God. Joe is the beneficiary of my commitment to God.
That's good.
And if I don't want to mess up that thing, then guess what? I can't treat Joe all the time based on how Tonia is feeling. Because Tonia will mess up. So I have to say, how would I treat God? And my actions can't be based on whether or not I like Joe today or not. Because if we honest, we love him all the time, but we don't like each other all the time. He doesn't, he may not say it, but he may not like me all the time because I know I can be a handful.
Amen.
But,
hallelujah, Jesus.
But that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
As Christian women,
Mhm.
it's as unto God first.
Right.
And that's why it's important that we're not so eager
Mhm.
to go out and get married or go out and try to find a partner,
Mhm.
because we need to make sure that we're lining up.
Yes.
Again, at 21
Yes.
years old, I have people cracking up because I said,
Mhm.
God knew what he was doing, because he probably knew that I would be so stubborn, much more stubborn as I was older,
Mhm.
that I'd probably be like, what? No.
Yes.
Mm-mm. And so God placed us together.
Yes.
Mhm.
And then we had to go in with the attitude of, okay, this is where we are.
Mhm.
And divorce is not an option. Now, I'm saying this with the understanding things happen.
Yes.
Mhm.
And there are times when you have to make a decision, but you can't go into this thing
Thinking it's the
thinking
way
that
out.
there's an option, like if it just doesn't work,
Mhm.
then we could be done.
Yes.
That just can't happen.
Yes.
Because then you're giving you already setting yourself up to failure.
That's right.
And I have to say, as a Christian woman,
Mhm.
I have to know my place.
Yes. Mhm.
I mean,
Hmm.
I don't care what I achieve in the world or professionally or whatever. I have to understand my role
Yes.
as the wife.
Mhm.
And oftentimes we don't know how to do that either.
Mhm.
I think that was one of my problems. That submit. What was that word again?
Submission.
That's the word. I can't even say it. Can't say it. No, but I've always been strong-willed.
Mhm.
So for me, it was more like someone was disregarding what I had to say, what I was feeling like I was less than, and that just didn't sit well. That didn't sit well with me. So I've always felt that I always had to defend myself in one way or the other, whether it was with doing extra for myself, just going out. I even got to the point, and people thought that I was just being conceited, I would say, in this, because I got to a point that on a monthly basis, I made a day for Lisa. And it was called I Love You Lisa Day. I had a cake, me and the kids went to eat, we had balloons, and the kids got accustomed to this day. And I did it for years. But people didn't understand what I was really going through. I became a real good actor as far as what was really going on. And people still think they know what's really going on, but babe, that's all I can say, And that the more I got closer to God and listen, reading the word of God about submission and all that other stuff, I understand it more now. And then if I'm truthful with myself, I ask God for me. Then sometimes I'll be like, that's fine. I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. I'm like, I don't know. I ain't just true. I'm like, don't know about that yet. So I'm just still, I'm still out there, and in God's will, if that's what you want. But pray for me, y'all. Just continue and pray. Because some days I'll be like, God, that's okay. I am. I changed my mind. I'll think about it again. We'll come back to this and we'll revisit this again. And then especially if I see something someone else going through, and I'll be like, absolutely not. I'll be like, no. I just don't think I can do this. I just don't think. And I'm being, it sounds funny, but I'm truthful. These are the conversations I have. That's just not gonna work.
But these are real conversations,
right?
That you have to have. I mean, and the thing is, what you don't understand, you need to get understanding of. I mean, because that's when the word submission comes up. Women freak out. I mean, how many people have changed the vows because I'm not putting obey in there?
Well, yeah, I don't mind not taking them whenever. I remember telling somebody that if you want somebody to obey, get you a dog from obedience school. I remember telling someone that. Get you a dog from obedience school, because that's not where I'm at. But but we have to be truthful, because even in the dating scene, because now I know, I mean, all jokes aside, I know what I want. I know who I am. I know what God is doing for me in the season. And if he blesses me, and when he blesses me with a husband, I'll be ready. But I also know my limits. So even in the stage of dating, and I shared this with you, a young guy I was dating, and he said something to me. I was like, what you say? just repeat that one more time. And he was saying it, and I was like, I'm done. I'm out. He's like, what? No worries. It's me, not you. I'm out.
Submission, when I think about that word, I think about that, because everybody has different views of what it means. But what it means to me is that I am comfortable enough in who I am in God, so that my husband can be who he is in God, and that together we can be what God says marriage should be. Because a lot of times we want to horn in on that scripture. A lot of women want to horn in on that part of the scripture where it says submit yourself unto your own husband. But
that means not other people's husband, y'all. Just yours.
But up before that, it says submit unto one another.
Exactly.
And so that's the part that we want to not look at. And any man that will require of you to allow him to be dominant or domineering, then that is not a person who is submissive to God himself.
I was going to say, and it says, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church.
Yes.
Christ was a gentle lover. He loved the church. He gave his all. Yes. And the thing is, what type of choices are you making?
Yes.
That's what it goes back to. What type of men are you choosing? Are you gravitating to?
Right.
Or
attracting.
Or are you attracting? Because a lot of women, we're not carrying ourselves in a way that would attract godly men. Men are looking to be married. A lot of men want to be married. And they want to treat their wives as queens. But the people that they're seeing are not acting like queen material. And so why would they pour into somebody or come across somebody? And so that's the first thing is, how are you carrying yourself? Because I often hear recently about these young women who are saying they like these men with these rugged dog attitudes, this and the other.
I hear that.
Well, if that's what you like, how you think they don't treat you?
And that's what you'll attract too.
And because that's what they come across that way, and that's what you showing them you like. So if that's the attitude you like, then that's what they're gonna give you. That's what they're gonna give you. And for me, submission sometimes it's just a check and balance. Because when I really want to say something, that's when God shuts your mouth and he turns it around. We're talkers, women are. We Black women especially, we known for showing our attitudes, this and the other. Sometimes we need to learn to be quiet. And as you said, be submissive to God, which shows you submissive to your husband. And right when you're about to say something, because you reached the ceiling on that thing, all of a sudden your spouse will come and say, you know what? I've been thinking. Because God, while you were sitting getting fed up, God was working within him and showing him some things without you belittling him, dogging him, or being combative and creating more mess. God was dealing with him, man to man, or whatever way you want to say it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Within his spirit in a manly way. And showing him some things. And it also just puts him in his place as the man of the house.
That's right.
Men can't be the head of their houses because oftentimes we're trying to run stuff. And I know I'm the type of person like, okay, I'm just going to do this. I'll do it. And it's not the best way to do it. We have to know when. And it doesn't matter whether you have a great job. You can take care of yourself. You may not need anybody to give you things. But it's not about things. What happens when you need each other to take care of you?
That emotional support.
The emotional support.
Or just someone to lean on, someone to trust. A friend. A friend. You know, someone that you can count on at all times. Someone that will be there. You know, who's that? Jason Nelson got that song out right now. What is called Commitment, I think it is. Wholesome song. It's gonna be the wedding song of the year. I promise you all it is. I promise you it is. It's an awesome song, and it talks about the commitment. It talks about no matter what we're going through, I'm committed. I'm committed to you, huh?
Come up with a song forever.
Yeah.
Okay.
It should have been called Committed. See, I would mess it up. But that's what I'm saying. You want someone that's going to be in your corner. Even we don't even have to be talking right now, but come push, come to shove, you know that when it comes down, I can lean on you, and you're going to come through. And those are the relationships that I think we need to try to not only try. We need to make it a choice to do. We need to make it a priority. We need to try attract positive and healthy relationships.
Well, you said something at the beginning when you were saying how when you come in and it's your stuff become one, you become joined as one. Nowadays, people are not getting married as early as we did. And so they're not, Tracey and I both, we got married early, young. So whatever Joe and Wendell had, whatever Tonia and Tracey had, you know, their spouses had it. We built it together. Whatever mistakes we had those together. You know, a lot of mistakes, a lot of lessons learned, tears cried, laughs, joys. You know, for our 25th wedding anniversary, Joe and I spent 24 hours just thinking. Each one of us came up with a happy time that we remember. And so, and that was just something we had to do. It didn't, no gifts or anything like that. I will always remember those times, because those times helped us build a solid foundation. And so it's not about those things. And see, nowadays, when people are coming together, they're getting married, they're older. They're getting married older, so they've worked a little bit. They come together with their jobs. They do this and other, and so it's about their things. And so they really don't become one. Sometimes they live together and they're friends, and they say, "Yeah, we're here. We're going to do this and other," but there's always some type of separation. And I'm not trying to tell people how to do their finances. I'm not trying to tell people whatever. But I will say this, in my opinion, if he has a bank account and you have a bank account and his bank account ends up on zero, he shouldn't be broke if you have money in your bank accounts. And you're calling him the head of your house. It just can't work. And it's that you have to come together. And I think if we stop looking at submission, like we look at submission, opposed to us looking at blending and coming together and joining as one, then we could do better. Until we start looking at that, it's scary.
It's scary. It's scary for me because there we go. We have to talk about this trust issue again. See, because if you take my stuff, I don't even know how to explain it. but it's a severe level of trust. And I understand us, bringing everything together. No, you're not supposed to have that money up under the couch, the what if money. You're not supposed to think the what if, but
you may, as a couple, decide that you're gonna each have your own. There are couples who decide we're gonna have your bank account, my bank account, and the house bank account.
I heard Steve Harvey say that. He said that they got 4.
You know what I found difficult on this journey. Before I got married, I had trust issues. So for me, I needed God to cleanse me because of the past relationships, the trust issues.
Yeah.
Because what I did not want to happen is when I married the person that he told me to marry, that he would feel the brink of what transpired.
Yes.
So what I did was I went on a 9-month fast because I needed God to fix my mind and my heart so that I could love this man the way he deserved to be loved, because he's innocent. And the past is called the past for a reason. And so until we get past those issues within ourselves, then we will have trust issues. Now, it's not to say that you put everything in them, because the only person you should put everything in is God.
That's yeah.
But God will give you what you need to trust your husband, to have one bank account, to submit to him as he submits to God. God will give you all of that. We are witnesses. And I'm sure you know that. But the thing is, we have submitted to the wrong person for so long, or constantly. So now when the right person comes along, they're going to catch him.
And when we do meet the right person, we're too afraid to be open and transparent. Because if it's the right person, they need to understand who they're dealing with. And if you have some things that you really are dealing with, and you are ready to make
if you're crazy,
and if you are really ready to make a commitment with this person, he needs to know who you are, and you need to know who he is.
Right? Ask lots of questions, ladies.
Lots of questions.
Whatever they are, ask them.
And how many doses of medicine does he take for you take?
Everything.
I mean,
everything.
You have to ask a lot of questions.
Right. I mean, that's the only way you get to know people, by asking and watching. You have to watch. Watch with investigating eyes. You can't
I need to make this disclaimer now. When you ask a question, be ready for the answer. And be mindful of what you're asking and how you're asking. You know what? We all know everyone has a past. And I think we're all adults on here. I don't think we should have any children. When you're sitting and talking to your husband, and if you're laughing and talking about the past, and somebody say something about the past, you can't get mad now because you're sitting having a conversation. If you should be mature enough to handle it. Mature enough to deal with it. Don't hold something about his past. And if it's not your husband, and if you're talking to that person that you're serious about, if you're talking about going to the next step, and you start asking about his past girlfriends, if you start asking about what he did with them, you ask that question. If you start asking about details of their relationship, you ask that question. So do not sit up here and start being mad, because see, we as women, we have a way of start opening up a can of worms. And once worms get loose, you can't put them back in half the time. And we don't want to get the answer. So you have to don't ask to be messy or just trying to get, if you're asking questions to really get to know the heart of the person you're trying to be with. You're not asking questions just to be all messy. You're not trying to have the relationship he had with the last person, because evidently that didn't work. And the more you talk together, the more you will build a level of trust. If it was finances that was the issue, and then like Tracey, it's like what's mine is his is mine. Joe used to always say, he'd say something like, oh, I just bought this. And I was like, you didn't buy that. I went to the store, bought that. He was like, didn't I get paid this week? No. He's like, well, I bought it anyway. Whatever. That was our joke because it was never about the money for us. And it was never about things. You really do. Whatever the issue is with you. You know, I grew up in a house where my mom raised us. She was a very independent woman. And so she always said, be able to take care of yourself, do whatever. But that didn't mean that I was supposed to dismiss my husband and say, I could take care of myself and do whatever. This man is the head of my, I said yes. And that's what you have to honor your role. And then we go back to submission. It's like, what do you mean submission? I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. As far as I'm concerned, there are two things you can never prepare for. That's marriage and parenting. Never prepare for them. But you can be mindful and prayerful and let God mold you into the person that you're supposed to be
for them
when you get to that point. Again, the 50-year-old Tonia is nowhere near the person I was at 21.
Right.
But I wouldn't have been able to be who I am without Joe. I mean, we've been together longer than we were living separate.
What would you all give? What type of advice would you give someone who desires to be married? I think God has someone for everyone, but I don't think marriage is in everybody's forecast. I just don't believe marriage is in everyone's forecast. He may have another purpose for you, another purpose and another plan. How are you going to be okay if God says no? But in that same token, what are you doing in preparation and anticipation of your Boaz, your boo thing? And don't get caught up in this Valentine's Day thing and think you have to just compromise your sanity and your goodies and all that other stuff for this commercial holiday. You do not have to do that. Love on yourself. So what advice would you give to someone who's anticipating?
My advice would be, I'm just, everything I'm saying, I'm just talking from experience.
Yes.
Because if I had to do it all over again, I would have done it differently.
Yeah, me too.
My advice would be to first ask God if this is His will for you. And then secondly, it would be to learn all you can about the role so that you know how to stay in your lane and carry out your assignment as a wife. Then thirdly, it would be to, while we're dating, we would have lots and lots and lots of conversations about everything. And the reason that is because we find in marriage ministry that some couples really didn't have in-depth conversations before they said I do. And so now they have all of these problems that are really unnecessary to have if you just had conversations before you said I do, so that you can come to some type of resolve. But you need to find out what God's plan is for your life. Because even though God has somebody for everybody, if that's His will, everybody don't want to be married. Because everybody cannot, or rather should I say, everybody is not willing to be selfless, because that's what marriage takes. It's a selfless act or selfless acts of love one to the other. So in a nutshell, is this what you want? God, can you trust me to be what I need?
That's a great question.
Man, Can you trust me to love this man and not love him more than I love you? Because we
make them our God.
Yes, we make them our God. We idolize them. And when they break our hearts, then we're looking at God cross-eyed. But God said, I will have no other God before me.
That's it.
And so, so at some point or another, we have to, in everything, we must see God. Ladies, see God in everything. In everything. Because one thing I found out, or that we all know on this line, and the three of us here that we found out about God, is God will tell you the truth 100% of the time. He won't water it down. He won't butter it up. He won't sugarcoat it. He'll tell you exactly what you need to know. But as Tonia said, Lady Tonia said, when you ask the questions, can you handle the response that he's going to give you?
That's it.
And be obedient to the response. That's it. And to be obedient to the response that he's going to give you. But prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. And no matter how long it takes, God didn't put no age limit on when you can find that Boaz. You don't, it doesn't matter whether you 20s or whether in your 50s or in your 60s. It will be when God says you are ready.
Yes,
exactly. Tracey, you made some good points, and there are a few things that I even, when Lisa was talking about this, I was like, man, what would I say to anyone? One of the things that I learned, and I didn't start off like this, because I was young and stupid. I mean, it's what you do.
Look, some of us
so oftentimes people look at us. I mean, we get it all the time. They're like, you've been married for 22 years. You've been married for 29 years. You go into the relationship valuing the quality of it, and not banking on the quantity of the years and the longevity of it. Many years ago, my mom had a friend. He met this lady. He was in his 60s. He met this lady, and within 3 days they were married. And they were married, and they remember Mr. Lomax. And they had a beautiful relationship until one of them passed away. I'm not telling nobody go out and marry nobody unless God tell you within 3 days that's your husband. I'm just saying that. But they had a beautiful relationship. There are some people who stay married for 50, 60 years and they can't stand each other. Build quality relationships. Quality time is so important. You get to know who they are. When you have a relationship with someone that you know each other, words are not necessary all the time. I know when something is bothering Joe. He knows when something is bothering me. We know when each other need them. Right. We don't have to communicate everything. Focus on the quality of a relationship.
Quality.
The years will come.
They will.
And God forbid, if he decides to take one of you home early, you had that quality time together. And that is no regrets. And that is so important. Focus on the quality. Secondly, for you single women who's looking, I say guard your heart, because you don't want to let everything in. Guard your mind, because you can't be letting all this stuff in and tainting your idea of who you are supposed to be as a woman, as a wife. And when I say that, I'm going to tell you, be careful about what you tell all your girlfriends. I don't care if it's just girl talk. Pray about that. Girl talk. Because see, some of us, we have these little loose conversations and we want to talk about our sex lives. We want to talk about this, that, and the other. While you bragging about what y'all doing, this, that, and the other, and they're plotting because they're like, really? Be careful about what you're talking about. Your business is your business. Like you tell your children what goes on in this house stays in this house. What goes on in your relationship needs to stay in your relationship. Even when it comes to family.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to family, my family loves me.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe's family loves me. We have one family.
Yes.
My mom and my sister treat Joe like they are his because they are his.
Yes.
But guess what? Your family loves you.
Yes.
If you decide to go and tell them everything that's going on in your house because you all done had a falling out, when you done straightened everything out because you ain't told them exactly what you've done. You told them exactly what he's done and the way he said it and what he said about them too. And how they create the problems. Mm-hmm. They never forget.
They don't.
Guard your house. Yep. Guard your house. Guard, when I say guard your heart and your mind, be careful about what you watch on TV, what you're reading, what you see other people doing. That's them in their house. What goes on in the McFadden house is good for the McFadden house. What goes on in the Williams house is good for the Williams house. Yes. Plain and simple. We can talk to each other and support each other and build each other up. Yes. But we've learned, God tell us what part of the testimony to share.
Yep.
The other part, keep it to yourself.
That's right.
Plain and simple.
If he don't tell you to share it.
Exactly. Keep it to yourself. And then I saw something on TV. I heard something on TV, and I thought this was just perfect for this. True love doesn't have to be perfect. Right. It just needs to be true. If you truly love someone, you're going to deal with some things that you in your selfish ways wouldn't deal with. Just like they're going to deal with some of you in your mess. Yeah, you have to, because none of us are perfect. And Tracey mentioned it. You're blending people personalities. You're blending, I mean, they grew up one way in their house. We grew up another way in the house. And God forbid, any woman that's been married for any length of time, when they first got married, their husband said, my mama didn't do it that way. Yeah. Just like you didn't like to hear that, they don't want to hear whatever somebody else is doing. True. That's true. And so nobody's perfect but God, but Jesus. Give that man some space to grow and make some mistakes, just like you're going to need some space to grow and make some mistakes. And then acknowledge your mistakes. Acknowledge your mistakes. Yes. Because that's so important. Too many, you know, we put ourselves on the pedestal and it's what they did, And so,
well, I think we have had a handful. We've had a wonderful, wonderful time. I thank all of you all. Thank you all for chiming in with us tonight. Thank you, Tracey McFadden and Tonia Williams, for blessing us with your wisdom on this evening. And to all our single ladies, hang in there, girl. He coming. Get yourself together. I'm talking to y'all about your credit. Do all the stuff you need to do. Get it all together. Okay, so both of them have husbands that are doing great things. So I need you all to shout out. Tracey, your husband just released a single. Tell us about it.
He did. It's called Thinking. And the gist of the song just speaks to that even when I'm not being who I am created to be in God, the Lord loves me.
Yes.
He loves all of me.
It yesterday.
He loves all of me. And so, he just released a single on February 4th, but he is working towards what is called an EP. It's not a CD. It's just about 3 or 4 songs. And so that's where he is in this particular season.
Okay. Excellent. Well, while we celebrate, now Tracey has a CD that's out too. Yeah. How can we find your CD?
You can go to TraceyMacMusic.com. It's on Amazon. It's on CD Baby. It's on Google, iTunes. I have hard copies for people who are not, technology, sound or whatever. But yeah. But I'm pushing his music.
Okay.
then after we get his out the way, then I work on my sophomore project.
There you go. There you go. Tonia, your husband, Pops.
Yes.
Yes. My wonderful husband, best friend, baker, love of my life, Pastor Joseph D. Williams. You guys probably know him from Facebook. If you don't know him personally, he's an excellent leader. He is the pastor of St. John Evangelist Missionary Baptist Church at 1234 West 3rd Street. And he is doing great things over there. He has a heart for the ministry, heart for the community. Mm-hmm. But recently he's found another love, which is baking. And which works. See, that's how God put you together. He loves to bake. I love to eat. It's called Pastor Pastries, cakes, sweet potato pies.
Yum, yum.
Excellent, beautiful presentation. If you want a treat, please reach out to us and we can make it happen. And just stay tuned. We have that going on. But also for the women, those who are recently married or want to be married, we are going to be soon. We'll be having something coming that is just in the making. It's called Proud to Be Chosen for women, because I feel like those women who are about to enter into this path or who's just been in this path, they need to understand what they're walking into. And so you'll be hearing more from me on that level in the near future.
Okay. Well, ladies, if you all have any questions for these beautiful ladies, go ahead, type them in the comments. Tavia, we see you. Tracey, Denitra, Tracy Strickland, Tanisha, Trice, Arnett, Michelle, Love. That's a Kenya. That's my baby. That's my little girl in there. So, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. And so while you're thinking of your questions, I'm just going to let you know our next guest, her name is Dominique Russell, and she has a new book out, and it hasn't hit the market yet. I think it's supposed to come out on the 26th of February, and she's our next guest, and she's going to speak with us on celibacy.
I met her, a really nice young lady.
Yes,
Met her.
We need it, because you know what? It's so much going on out there. You cross your legs. Cross. Just cross. You gonna cross them on top or at the ankle. Tavia, you know what I'm talking about. Cross them at I heard Tavia talking to her daughter. She said, you gonna cross them up, you gonna cross them at the top or at the ankle.
and you better get to know the person in a non-sexual way, because you marry somebody just because of sex, you're not building a solid foundation either. So No. Sex just part of it. That's not the that's not the all in all. No,
it is not. Not for women anyway.
When it gets sick, it ain't gonna work.
It's number one. It's number one on the husband list. For women, it's emotional.
You know, stuff can happen. You have to put it up on a kickstand. Oh no, just.
But God will give you grace for that too.
I'll just shake my head, release it.
Hey, I love it. She keeps it real.
Hey,
that's what you want today.
Yeah. So I don't see any questions. I love you all.
Love you, ladies.
Thank you for all your time and your support. I am really loving this. Let's see.
Somebody did do a comment. Did you?
Yes, ma'am. That was Talia said, amen. That's wonderful. Yes. So we are looking for people. If you want to come in and be a guest, come in. Let's just have some fun. So what made me start doing this is I noticed that we had at that time we had 151 members of the group. What Facebook did, the members that were not active, they moved down to just invite only. So, but it made me excited because we had 130 members who, whether they say anything or not, they are always watching.
Nice, beautiful.
So that made me excited.
Beautiful.
And so with that, I remember one time I was talking about stopping this. One of my friends was like, "You can't." She was like, "I don't say nothing, but I'm there all the time."
Nice.
And so letting God use me for this, for whatever blessing it could be. Praying that someone gets delivered. Praying that you learn something. Praying that you have hope. And know that God loves you.
Yes.
There are brighter days ahead. I don't care what you're going through. I don't care. Man, y'all wouldn't know. I've been hit with some everything this month.
But God.
Yeah.
But God.
Everything this month. And all I said, I ain't got time to deal with God. It's in your hands. And that's it. That's all. That's how I have to trust. So I love you guys. It will be on here so you can review or share through the group and whatnot. And we didn't open it up because we just want a certain type of atmosphere in here. Okay? So love you guys, and I will talk to you soon. See you next week.
Bye, ladies.
Take care, ladies.